We're going to play a video just a second.
Okay.
You have to go on mute.
I could see this new revolution coming. It was an anticipation of the idea that everything would go wrong, but that music would prevail.
1971, I don't think the music was a reflection of the times as much as the music also caused the times.
It was an incredibly tumultuous year, politically, socially, musically.
I think the music reflects the state of the societies in.
All these bands were making music referring to protests and the Vietnam War. That was our language.
I would like to say something that hasn't been said so much,
1971 was a year of revolutionary consciousness.
Actually, I was hoping that would work, but it's doubling back on audio. So, all right. I shouldn't be hearing myself, but I am. All right. Let's see. Now I don't hear myself. You guys all hear me, right? Thumbs up if you hear me. All right, here we go. Best laid plans of mice and men all fall asunder, as we know. Well, so tonight we have, in no particular order, Linda Bills, Megan Holbrook, Larry Siegel, Dan Stuber, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce his name. The guy from Massachusetts, Mark Blaze.
Blazieski.
Blazievsky.
But
All right. So
I spent years teaching people that.
Yeah. So basically, let me just start from the beginning.
How do we make the screen bigger?
Thank you, Jan.
Add little pictures.
Oh, right. Well, you see yourself as a little.
Oh, okay.
What?
There's a little square on the bottom.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I pressed it and now everyone's big.
Share where it says share? You're in the show.
I don't know what you're seeing. So.
No, I have full screen.
Let me see. Oh, let me see something here.
Just trying. Here we are. We're live. Those pictures are bigger, correct?
A little bit for me.
Who is the pillow in the middle?
Who is the pillow? I think
there he is.
In the middle. That would be Larry Siegel. So
yes.
Anyway,
hi everyone.
I want to thank you all for coming tonight. It's the class of 1971 celebrating your 50th year since graduation. And the goal of this show is to talk a little bit about our lives. You had in Wantagh, and then talk beyond that. What I do want to remind the panel is you need to mute yourself when you're not talking, so I don't hear myself.
We're still getting feedback from you, Glenn.
Are you really?
Yes, I am.
That is crazy. Okay, hold on. We're gonna do one more thing. We're gonna close this screen off.
I muted myself, and when I did that, the feedback stopped.
Okay.
Yeah, right. I don't hear feedback anymore.
All right, I'll mute my.
Okay, and then you owe me $1 every time you talk and you don't unmute. There may be some live questions from the audience, and I'll share those with you. The whole goal of this program is to just talk about simple stuff, answer some simple questions, and do not discuss politics. So as I already said, Linda Bills, Megan Holbrook, Larry Siegel, Jan Stuber, and Mock. I don't think people in high school knew you as Mock, right, Mark?
That's true. It only happened in 1982 when I moved to Massachusetts and I discovered that people here do not understand the letter R. And I became Mock, and I just gave up, and I'm Mock now.
They understand now. So I'm going to try to ask a few different questions than I've done in the past couple of weeks. But did you guys know one another in high school? Who knew one another?
It depends on your definition of know.
Were you friends? Were you good friends with people on the screen with you?
No.
No.
We did stuff together. I mean, we skied, we did stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know Larry real well. I know everybody else as friends.
Yeah. And I actually remember Linda from going to her house and hanging out with her brother. But she's probably the only one. And Jan, I know your sister. And Megan, your brother's Peter, isn't he?
Yep.
Yep. So yeah. So we all had people that we knew. So anyway, the usual question I ask, and we'll start with Megan. What part of Wantagh did you grow up in, and what elementary school did you go to?
Oh, nice, easy questions. I grew up on Bunker Avenue near the Beach Street School. So I went to Beach Street Elementary School.
Okay.
You know where Bunker Avenue is?
Oh, yeah. You were across. So let me guess. Tom Carluccio was on your street.
Right next door.
The Aikens were there.
Right.
The Victors.
The Victors.
Yeah, I could pretty much name your whole block.
Good.
Susie Schmidt was across the street.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Off of Beach Street. Yeah, I liked it.
Yeah.
The trees met in the middle, and it was a beautiful street with some nice older homes.
Short walk to elementary school.
Exactly.
So when did your parents move in? Because your houses on that block were old.
Right. They moved from Levittown, and I was born in Levittown, so it must have been 57, 58. They lived there for a long time.
Yeah. But that wasn't one of the Levitt homes. That was.
It wasn't. No, but in Levittown, Levittown, they lived in a Levitt home. I think they paid $6,000 for it or something like that.
Yeah. So did your house have like 7 bedrooms?
No, I lived on the other side of the street across from the really big, nice homes.
Yeah. I'm kidding. I remember Billy Victor's house being big.
Yes. Oh, those houses, beautiful.
Yeah. And so Larry, where'd you go to elementary school? When did your parents move to Wantagh?
Okay, we moved there probably in 59, because it was right just after Halloween in kindergarten, because I remember I missed my Halloween party for my school in Queens and didn't get to Wantagh in time for another Halloween party. So I went to Forest Lake.
Okay. So, Linda Bills, did you go to Forest Lake School too? Nope. Got it. You're on mute. Nope. Uh-oh. Hold on. I don't know why I can't unmute her. So, I'm not sure what's going on. No. Oh, hold on. I'm adding you to the stream as a different person. But you're still on mute. Don't you love technical?
Okay.
Linda, talk.
I'm talking.
Okay, the problem is, yeah, we get feedback. Because
So
you're on Tuesday.
oh boy, that's bad.
Is that better?
That's
Now
better.
try. Oh, good. All right.
But my screen, when I went to do full screen in that bottom corner, my computer totally went black. So now I'm on my phone.
Yeah, you're fine on your phone. So
Okay.
let's start with a question. You went to Forest Lake, I'm pretty sure. But
I did, yes.
when
Yeah.
did your parents move in?
Well, when I was a baby, we moved to just off of Jerusalem Avenue. And then when I was 6, we moved to the house on Valentine Place, which, Mock, that was over by your house, I believe, right? Were you on Cornelius? So, and I lived there until I couldn't wait to get off Long Island.
Oh, I hear that. Yeah.
Sorry if you're still there. But yeah, so I was 19. But I did go to Forest Lake, and it was a fun school. I don't have a whole lot of memories that I can think about, but I remember all my teachers, and I love looking at all the pictures that I think Linda Greenside has been posting, like all of the class pictures online on Facebook. So it's been fun looking back and seeing who you remember, and it's kind of interesting to see who you do remember from when they were in kindergarten and first grade, and So
Linda, just remind me if I've got the wrong memory. Did you go to Belmore Presbyterian Church?
Yes, and you did too.
Yeah.
And so did Jan.
Yeah, I know. We all went there.
There were a lot of Wanta High School kids who went there. Actually,
a lot of good Presbyterians in the crowd, and English. So
I'm gonna butt in. I just spoke to my sister Glenn, and she said something about you and her, like it not actually making it into Sunday school class.
Uh-oh.
Oh, me or your sister?
Both of you and maybe others.
Oh, you mean doing other things?
Correct.
Oh, yeah. That's a fact. And junior high fellowship was even better.
Yes, we discussed. We won't talk more about that. So.
Yes, but I tried to be a good guy. Spin the bottle in the basement of the church was as bad as it got. So Mark, I take it you grew up on Cornelius.
I did. We moved there, I guess, in 1954. I went to Forest Lake for kindergarten and first grade, maybe second grade, I don't know. And then I ended up in Mandalay.
Oh my God.
And they started shipping us over there. It was a great bus ride. And then in fifth grade, they started sending me over to Beach Street just because there was nothing else to do. I was in this program called ECP, 11 Crazy People, and we'd get together once a week and do stuff. They thought I was bored, I guess. And then went to junior high. But I God knows, I've been in all the schools. It was a wonderful time.
Who was the ECP teacher? Because I was in there too, as well.
Mrs. Roper.
Right. Yeah.
Susan Roper's mom.
Yeah. I remember that. So it was, we were bored. They thought we were bored. So they said, let's give them some special attention or something like that.
I thought I had a disability.
Yeah. It helped me graduate a year early. So.
Yeah, it was fun. Got to meet all new people. That's where I met Kathy Hughes for the first time.
Yeah. So Larry, you already answered, right?
Yes.
Where you're from? Jan, it's your turn.
Got it. All right. Well, I remember, Mark, you being on my bus, as well as picking up Seth and picking up Jeb, because I was on the northern border of the school district right near Jerusalem Avenue, and they shipped us to Mandalay. So it was very strange. But that's where I went my whole elementary years. And I lived on Rose Lane. Was it very close to the high school?
Did your parents do the usual story? They moved from
Queens or someplace like that. Yeah, I was a toddler, probably. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Well, it's always interesting. I mean, of all the shows I've done, I haven't heard of anybody being shipped from Forest Lake area down to Mandalay. So that's.
Well, I was further north, even if you can picture that, right near the high school.
Yeah. Yeah, I know that Robert Berg said that his home was officially the Maginot Line for being shipped to either Sunrise or Mandalay on Holiday Park Holiday. Was that
Drive,
right?
Holiday Drive. Oh
Holiday
my goodness. Right, good memory. Mm-hmm.
So we've lost Linda.
Well, she'll be back.
Let me see if I can add her. I just added something that purports to be Linda. So we know that Mark is in Boston. Megan, where are you?
Where am I now?
Yeah, where are you
Oh,
living?
okay. So it's Megan.
Oh, Megan, sorry.
It's like the mock thing. I live in the Bay Area in a town called Novato, which is about a half-hour drive north of San Francisco.
Yeah, I used to.
Oh,
used to
right.
live in that area. So, Larry, where are you located now?
I'm outside of Boston.
Oh, so you and Mock, you hang out?
Nah, he worked for the dark side, so I can't associate.
Uh-oh.
I actually live down on the Cape. I'm at the beginning of Cape Cod, so I'm probably an hour away from Larry. That's out of my zone.
Yeah. And I say he works for the dark side because my daughter works for the same company. I say she works for the dark side.
I take that in the spirit's a given there, Larry. That's fine.
And Jen, you live somewhere near me.
Yeah, I'm in Maryland, about 40 miles north of Washington D.C. So suburb. Been here since '85. Raised my kids here. I love it. I love it.
Cool. Well, I'm right on the water, outside my window. That's why I'm pointing.
What town is it?
I live northeast of Annapolis.
North.
So,
Okay, across the bridge?
No. You know where Gibson Island is at all?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Linda does.
Pasadena. Pasadena?
I thought that was south of Annapolis.
No.
No.
Are you
Okay.
in Magathie, Glenn?
Yeah, I live right on the Magathie. Yeah.
Nice.
So where are you, Susan? I mean, Linda.
What's that?
Where are you, Linda? Oh, you're in Colorado.
I'm in Sarasota, Florida.
Oh, you're in Sarasota. Okay.
I can't hear very well.
Communications is going to be an interesting thing here. So, so I guess the thing that I've asked in previous weeks that I'd like to stick with, we'll start with Mark, since your fellow students seem to know you as Mark. So, so the day of graduation, what did you end up doing? What did you go toward? Are you where you wanted to be?
Oh, well, no. You know, in 1971, you started out with that cool movie talking about the Vietnam War, and all of us were kind of under the threat of being drafted. And all the 18-year-olds were subject to draft, and I didn't want to do anything. When I was getting out of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and quite frankly, I wanted to do nothing, not go to college, take a year off. And everybody convinced me that in order to avoid the war, I should go to college. So I did. And I didn't know what to do, so I studied and got a degree in teaching, and found out I hated teaching. And just kind of rattled around until 1981, and then I found a job at Raytheon, where I began running their educational systems for the U.S. Navy. And I had about 200 ships worth of crews on cruisers, destroyers, aircraft carriers, and I found that interesting. And so I spent 32 years there. I retired 2014 as a director of engineering services at Raytheon. It was a great run. They made me an offer I couldn't refuse, and I bagged it out of there. But to be honest with you, it's the last place I ever expected I'd end up.
Yeah, when Larry said you were on the dark side, I had a thought that maybe you were at Raytheon.
Oh yeah, my job was harvesting money from the government. Many governments. I was really good with Saudi Arabia and the Ministry of Defense in England and all the NATO countries. I worked with almost every navy in the world. Fascinating time, really. I had a lot of fun.
And now you're retired. What are you doing for fun?
Oh, what do I do for fun? I do a lot of music. I learned how to play ukulele during this COVID time. So I've got a teacher in Seattle, Del Rey, who's a fabulous ukulele player, and she taught me via Zoom how to fingerpick ukulele. And we just bought a new house, or another house, and I'm rebuilding that house. We're dumping a bunch of money into it and going to one-story living because we're getting old and stairs suck. So I fish. I live on the side of Buzzards Bay. I've got some boats and I go fishing a lot and clamming a lot, and I just really enjoy getting out and being around. But lately I've been hammering, working with architects and driving myself crazy, and my wife, drive her nuts. God bless her. Got married in 1981. I've got a daughter and a son, and then 2 grandkids. So I've got a lot to keep me busy.
Well, that's good. That's good. You don't want to be driven crazy. You don't want to drive people. But
I'm already crazy. I started crazy. I never grew up. I had the Peter Pan thing going my whole life. I think I still do.
Yeah. My neighbor is learning to play cello via distance communication. So I figure you can do anything.
YouTube's your friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I work for Johns Hopkins University and oversee 4,200 people around the world, and I'm head of technology. So, we made it all possible, for us to be out and about and not have to be in the office. That's for sure.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time at the Applied Physics Lab down at Johns Hopkins University. They were one of my customers, and actually they would review all our work. But yeah, the technology kept me interested and still does. I just went back to work, actually, first time in 7 years. There was a nuclear verification treaty job that came around, and I got called up to help support a proposal for that. So I actually worked for the first time in 7 years for 3 months, and who the hell knew I was going to know anything about nuclear treaty verification? But hey, life is strange.
You mean back in 1971, you didn't know that would be?
I was doing everything I could to avoid the military.
My brother did the same thing in 68. He came up with, his number was 38, and he had to remain in college.
Well, I pulled a 326. So I really didn't have to go to college. They weren't touching me. They only went up to around 100, I think, in our year. So, I was safe, but I didn't know it at the time. And once I got to college, I figured I might as well stay. I was having a really good time. I was singing with the Grateful Dead from 1972 to 74. I was in the audience. But I think that counts.
Oh, well, then I've done that too. I have sung with the Grateful Dead.
Some of the best.
I flunked out. I flunked out of college in my sophomore year and had to take a semester off and start over again. But I was having a great time.
Where'd you go to college?
Oswego.
Oh,
on the lake.
Straight up.
Yeah, the coldest place known to man.
Yeah. Well, except for Alaska. So,
yeah.
All right. So let's go to the bottom square just below you on my view. Megan, I've got it right.
Thank you. Perfect.
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 So there you were, graduation day, 71, the best music around.
You know, I think graduation night, we skipped the parties and went to the Fillmore to an Allman Brothers concert.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
It was great.
That
So
early,
that's how I started.
and Dwayne was still alive.
Oh, yes.
No
Oh,
motorcycle
great.
accident yet.
Yeah. That was the filming of, or the recording of Live at the Fillmore East.
Wow.
One of my favorites.
Wow.
Yeah.
So what'd you do the next day?
I can't remember. For no particular reason.
Nor should you.
Huh?
Nor should you remember.
Right. So I went to college in Washington, D.C., to American University
You did.
with Jan.
That's right. I forgot that little piece.
I know. Yeah. And then from there, I think I developed an interest in law because there was some show on television where there were really cool lawyers. So I was thinking about going to law school. I took a year off after graduating from AU and lived in Colorado, in Boulder. And from there, decided to head on to San Francisco because of the Beach Boys. Not exactly, but I really thought San Francisco was going to be warm, and I thought I'd be swimming in the ocean and surfing and all of that, and it's very different, but I love it. So I went to University of San Francisco, started practicing right after that. I practiced as a sole practitioner, private practice, for about 40 years. And I retired the end of 2020. So I'm newly retired.
Wow.
I'm very happy.
That's amazing. So you were practicing out of the city?
Yes. So I had two offices, one in Sonoma County in a place called Sebastopol.
Oh,
and I was there because we lived there for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then in San Rafael as well. But mostly I've lived in Marin County.
Yeah. I went to Humboldt State for graduate school.
Oh, nice.
So that's, hyper Northern California.
Oh, yes.
And San Jose State for undergrad.
Oh, okay. All right.
And then worked in Silicon Valley, Google. That was my last gig before Hopkins. So
wow.
Heated toilet seats. How can you beat that? So did you enjoy the law?
I did. I think because I did estate planning, the work was really working with people and getting to know them as individuals, helping them do estate planning. There was no litigation, nothing tough. I mean, I don't tolerate stress very well. So I've kind of built my life to avoid it, including the practice of law that I did.
Well, you can help your fellow students here at the reunion and
yes.
Help them with estate planning, at discount.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Secrets you don't want to know about people.
Right.
Yeah.
So tell me, how big was your family how many people were in your family?
Growing up?
Yeah.
There were 4 kids.
Yeah.
So I was number 3. There was Stephanie, Chris, graduated in 69, I think. Me, and then my younger brother, Peter, who's actually living in Southern California now.
Yeah. So I spent a lot of time in Huntington Beach and owned a home in Huntington Beach until 3 years ago.
Oh, nice.
But anyway.
Yeah.
So Larry, it's your turn.
Okay, so
tell us about, did you have a low number, high number?
My lottery number was 323. It's amazing how you remember that number forever.
Yeah, I bet.
And especially since I don't know the age, but I was not able to get a student deferment. So the number was important, but it also turned out that it wasn't important because that year no one got drafted from my year, as far as if I remember correctly, which I won't guarantee.
Interesting.
But
Yeah.
so I left Montour in '71, went to Buffalo for 7 years, got my PhD, then moved to Boston.
And you were on not the dark side, you were on the good side?
Yeah, I worked for MIT, so I guess that's it.
MIT. Did you teach? You taught
Nah,
at MIT?
No, I don't have the patience to teach. Deal with students. That can
But
be
you have the patience for cold weather.
Well, Boston's an improvement over Buffalo.
Yeah, yeah. There are actually I'll be doing the classes of 61 through 64 in July, and several people went to the University of Buffalo, or Buffalo State as well. So it's something like that. University of Buffalo.
It could have been either.
Yeah. But I'm wondering, were the recruiters, was your guidance counselor saying go to Buffalo?
No, I looked at it. Here's Long Island. All I could afford was a state school. What's the state school that's furthest away from Montour that has engineering? It was a very easy decision.
So Stony Brook wasn't for you.
Stony Brook was too close.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, and at the time, Stony Brook only had engineering science, so it went to work anyway.
Yeah, I hear you. So, well, that's cool. I'll be coming back to you. So, Linda, you can hear me. Let's make sure this all works. So go off of mute.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yep, perfect.
Okay, but my screen just went blank, so I can't see any
No,
of
I
you.
can totally see you.
Okay. I won't make any funny faces then.
Don't make funny faces. So, so you left at 19.
I did. Yeah.
And you went to the same concert, the Fillmore, the night of graduation.
I wish. Hang on one second. My husband's going to undarken my screen.
Oh, is he? Hi there. How are you?
David. Say hi to Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
Guest appearance by Dan.
Don't worry about it. I don't know why the screen goes blank. But anyway, I'm back.
I didn't get that. Could you try?
Pretend you're on a phone call. Pretend you're on a phone call.
Okay.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I went to SUNY Cortland, and I did become a teacher. And I think I loved high school so much that I just wanted a continuation. So I taught high school for 13 years in Annapolis. And then I took 13 years off when we moved to California and Colorado. We lived in Boulder and for 17 years, where I started teaching again, and I taught high school math. So I did that until about 8 years ago when we moved to Sarasota. So we've lived kind of all over the place and traveled all over the place with our companies, and just, yeah, it's been kind of interesting and fun, and got to see lots of people and revisited lots of old friends, which has always been a lot of fun. Got to go to a lot of Grateful Dead concerts. And I missed that in the 1971 music thing at the beginning. I was hoping that was longer so we could see some Dead in there, but not yet.
Yeah. I was afraid to play that leader because on YouTube they cut out anything that's got copyright violations. So that's why I was trying to play it right at the beginning. And then people would come into the show even if it was cut out. I didn't realize you lived in Annapolis. So
I did. I lived on Conduit Street.
Oh my God.
I know. You lived like a block away. Didn't you live by Gary Jobson?
I did, but I lived on Green Street.
Okay.
I still own a house on Green Street.
Okay.
So, and then I bought this house on the water.
Okay, because we used to race sailboats. Did all the race series out of Annapolis for years. So
what
fun.
year did you leave?
90.
Huh.
And then we moved to Cupertino.
Cupertino, good place to be.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, my daughter ended up being a professional sailor. And,
I saw that on Facebook. Yeah.
Yeah, was amazing, and she's even more amazing because now she's a digital nomad and gets to live wherever she wants. She works for a San Francisco-based company called IDEO, and they say, we don't care where you live, just do the work. And so she skied all winter at various points, Incline Village. She lived in Colorado and skied all of there. And now she lives in Park City. And she's doing dirt biking.
Oh,
and,
wow.
Stuff. It's amazing. Something just broke.
Yeah, I heard that too.
But yeah.
Good microphone.
My kids are born and raised in Annapolis. That's why I still own that house downtown, because they won't let me sell it.
Oh, I can understand that. Though it's changed so much, we go back and it's like nothing like it was when I lived there. So, but I miss the sailing there.
I tell my kids that's my part of my retirement.
Absolutely.
I'm selling that. So,
I have 2 kids who were born in Annapolis. 2 out of my 3.
Yeah. And did they go to AYC or SSA or?
No, we moved to California when they were really little. So they pretty much grew up in Boulder.
Okay.
Which wasn't terrible either. They were big skiers and mountain bikers now. So it's all good. They're outdoorsy.
Yeah. Well, we're getting too inside baseball here. So, so let's go to Jan. I have seen how you were part of the yearbook. You put together the yearbook. So you and, well, actually, Susie O'Brien, was she on the
Susie O'Brien and Kathy Hughes and Jim Maloney. We were the 4 that I remember. So, yes.
Yeah. So you had fun doing that.
Of course. It's still, when I look at happen to come across other people's yearbooks for various reasons, we did, it was really nice. We did a really good job. And these things you can only see in a lot of hindsight. So, yeah. So some of I know especially Mark and maybe the others, that I married Jim Maloney right after I got out of AU. And so I'll backtrack a little bit. I remember just a happenstance that Megan was practically on the same floor as me, right? Like around the corner. We didn't plan it in our dorm. So that was really awesome. But I love DC, and that's how I eventually made it back to the DC area in '85. We came back to this area, and this is where I raised my kids in this area. So I still love it. So my major in AU was in the art department in interior design, and that's what my career has been in, and worked for various people over the years. But when my son was born in '84, he had severe disabilities, and that really changed my trajectory for about 21 years. His care was my job. And but he passed away in '05. So and then I just got to build my business up, and it's been great. So I just retired like you, Meg, and I retired at the end of December of this year. And it was really almost, I felt like the top of my career, but it had been a really long, good run, tons of clients in this area, and finished up my career staging homes when that became, very much a thing. So I don't know. That's a very short story of it all.
Oh, it sounds interesting, and I do know your sister, and it's funny to hear hear that she's called you and asked you, back, talk to him about not going to Sunday school. So
The secrets come out. She only told me like 5 years ago that she took my clothes out of my closet. She never confessed to this until recently. So those things happen, and it's kind of sweet. But yeah, I know it's been a really good run here. I like this area a lot. And and Mark, what I remember most about you was double dating with you like all through senior year of high school, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so who was Mark with?
That's for him to say.
I was with Judy Cricello.
Really?
Yeah. Those were great years.
And then I went to the senior prom and sat at your table was John July part of that?
I don't know. John was always hanging around. He lives in Panama now. I went to visit him 3 years ago, and it's funny just seeing people after all these years.
Yeah. So that's about it.
Yeah.
So it's good to be retired. It's different, but it was time.
Yeah.
It was
It's a process.
Yeah, it definitely is. Oh, and so Megan, I have to tell you all. So Megan was more a big part of my life. What, the senior year, junior year? I don't remember what year it was, or summers. But we worked at the Jones Beach restaurant.
That's right. I forgot that you were there. Our paths have really crossed.
Yeah, and we were partners or whatever that system was they had at that restaurant for a while.
Wow.
Do you remember that?
I do now, yeah.
Gosh. So it's really hard to go back to the beach, and it's been this way for many years when that restaurant burned down and it's just a piece of property,
Yeah.
And but the memories were just really so many of them.
The beach was a big part of my life growing up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me
Yeah,
too.
mine
Beautiful. Yeah.
I'm married to a preller. I married my first love from high school, but Facebook put us together. So
really,
anyway, there was when Facebook was brand new, it had the ability to tell you when somebody came online, and so she came online. She created a profile, and I was like white on rice. It was like, wow. So I started writing to her, and it's been 13 years. So.
So kind of new.
Kind of new, yeah. Well, 13 years hanging around together and 2 years married. So,
very new.
So,
Yeah,
but yeah, it's been a blast, and it's funny because she has no interest in Wantagh, no interest in going to reunions, no interest in talking about Wantagh. She'll talk about Jones Beach, and she was a waitress at the same restaurant you were, and every one of her family worked at the beach. And but it's just for whatever reason it is, those I left Wantagh in '74, August 15th to be exact, and never went to Huntington Beach, and I had an airline ticket. My brother picked me up at the airport, Orange County, and never turned my back. Never looked back, and then I did have to go back. My mom died, so I did go back for the funeral, and then just got pulled into things like this. For whatever reason, it's kind of fun, getting people together and getting to figure things out. But I want to ask Larry, what did you like about Wantagh? Why did you want to get away so fast? Was it Wantagh, or was it you just wanted to start your life? Nope,
I
you're
just
on
wanted to
mute.
get out of Wantagh.
There you go.
And I would never go back there other than Jones Beach. It's really.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you go back, Megan? Do you go?
I have a brother who lives in Yaphank.
Oh yeah.
And actually, Long Island now, when you go out on Long Island, there are vineyards, great restaurants on the water. So I'm planning on going to the reunion. And I think my other siblings are going to be joining us, and we'll all have a visit in Yaphank, but going to the reunion as well. It's just that I go other places. I haven't really been back there. I was there a few years ago, spent some time in Manhattan, and it was a hell of a heat wave. You really couldn't even walk outside. So, yeah, I'm pretty far from there. It's a big effort to get there. So
Yeah.
it has to be a 50th reunion or something like that. Is everyone else going?
Can we put a plug in? Linda and I are on the committee.
Oh, of course.
And Kathy, right?
And Kathy.
Of course, Kathy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mark, you did a thumbs up, so I'm assuming you're going.
Yeah, I
Larry?
would.
You guys,
Probably, but I'm not sure yet.
we didn't put out, Kathy has not put out the official announcement. It's coming, right, Linda?
I got it today.
It's out.
Yeah, it came out today.
Well,
Out today.
that shows you how I'm not connected to Facebook. Okay.
It was an email.
It was an email.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Even I saw it on Facebook. So
Yeah, it's an event. It's a Facebook event.
Thank you very much.
yeah. Somebody needs to mute. I forget who it was
Might
last
be
time.
me. I can.
There you go. I got it. So I almost forget the question I'm supposed to ask.
We're distracting.
It's so much fun doing this. I actually get very nervous at every show, and it's about midway through is when I calm down and my hands stop shaking, and the sweating balls still happen. No way around that one. Sorry. But and sweating armpits. But anyway, Mark, would you go back to Wantagh to visit other than the reunion?
No.
Or
I went to our 25th reunion, and going back for the 50th will be my first visit in 25 years. I live probably 5 hours away, 4 hours away. I don't know, but no. Once I get to New York City, I get stuck. I can't get past New York City. If I'm going that way, well, there's always some good concerts going on, but I don't know anybody in Wantagh anymore. My parents both passed, and I don't know. I don't even know who lives there anymore from our class, if anybody.
You'd be amazed. I find that people pass their houses down, and so that at least my class, 74 and 75, there's a lot of people who are still there, but 71 could be very different. I know that my brother's class, 68, there are a few of his old classmates who are still in Wantagh. So there must be somebody. You'll find out. But
Yeah.
Jean's
I'd
mother.
rather go to New Orleans.
Yeah. Jean Preller, the person I'm with, her mother lives in Greenport, so we go up, to visit. Her mom's 95 now, so that's the only time I'll go up there, and I'll say, well, let's go through Wantagh, and she goes, no, let's take Long Island Expressway and avoid it. But it's interesting because in Orient Point, there's 8 generations of my family. My father's mother was from Orient Point, so it just it's the things you learn. I just wanted to get away, like Megan. I did go someplace where the water was warm, well, it wasn't warm. I'm sorry. It was 64 degrees, but the temperature, Huntington Beach, 72, and I got to surf. And, that was heaven to me. And then I looked at the history, it's the older I get, 64, my Beatles birthday. I've just been looking back at history, and that's probably why I'm doing this show. So, one of the closing questions I'll ask, if you'll each respond. Somebody asked this a couple weeks ago, and if you could have told yourself something, the person you are now, tell yourself when you were 17 or 18, something, some advice, what do you think that advice would have been? Or you can say, if there was something in particular about Wantagh or Wantagh High School that influenced the rest of your life, or gives you pause, something other than the beach. We all love the beach, that's a given. So, but if there was a teacher that made a difference in your life, I think we'll go with Linda. Go ahead.
So my 9th grade math teacher was Miss Smith, and she was my inspiration for some reason. And I was never a really good student. I hated to do homework. Just really distractible. But she inspired me, and I became a math teacher. And I remember when I was up in Cortland, I came home one time and I wanted to go to Wantagh High School to see her and thank her, only to find out that she had died in an automobile accident. And that's one of the things just really hit home with me, is you just really should take every opportunity that you can, because I really wanted her to know how important she was in my decisions, and how, I took that away. And I would, she was one of the people I hung out with her after school a lot, and other teachers would come in. So it was kind of a weird kind of thing in retrospect, because I was a high school teacher, and I loved when my students would come in and hang out with me after school, even if, I was older than their parents. But it was just kind of fun to know that you had a place in other people's lives. And Glenn, you'll appreciate this, I think, because when I taught in Glen Burnie, Maryland, and it was my first and second year teaching, I had a 7th grader, and then I had her again, an 8th grader, and she lives in Pasadena now. And she's 55 years old, and she keeps in touch with me all the time. And it's just one of those things that just, sticks with you, that you kind of made, an impression. She had a really hard childhood. And whatever, she used to come and see me all the time. She would come to my house and all that. And it's just one of those things that you think, okay, I made a difference in somebody's life. And that was super important to me. And, it was just one of those things with teaching that you just hope that you don't hear a lot about what happens to your students after they leave school. And I know I never talked to any of my teachers after I left Wantagh, but it must have left a really big impression on me to want to have a career in high school, teaching high school and teaching math. I don't know where that, where else that would have come from, except from her. But somebody on episode 9 had talked about how little guidance we had, because I know now guidance teachers are so involved in their students and so informational, and they have college career centers and all that in every high school that I've ever been in. But we didn't have that, we didn't have that direction. So whatever direction you either got from your peers or from your parents, I think, or, something like that. So that's one of the things that I think my parents didn't go to college, so it was but we were going to go to college. We were going to be the first generation in our families. And where do you get that direction from when, so I don't know. that's just kind of, I feel really blessed that I was able to go to college, was able to get a degree, and was able to carry on for that, and then impart that to my children, who are all, thank God, successful adults. So, it's just a happy ending, I guess. Well, it's not ending. I'm not ending, I hope. So, but listening to all of you and listening to episode 9 and all of the careers and all that kind of stuff, it's just like, it's just amazing where people have gone and where people have been, and what they've pursued. And I'm so impressed by what people have accomplished in their lifetime. So,
yeah. Well, I would tell you that Mrs. Heisler, if you remember Mrs. Heisler at all, she was a history teacher in the high school. Prudence.
Prudence. Yeah, I had Prudence.
Prudence. Yeah. And she actually knew my mom, and she took me aside, and I was 10th grade. I think you guys went to high school in 9th grade. Is that
yes.
true?
Yes.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Right after it changed, but I was in 10th grade, and she said, I know your mom, and I know how life is for you at home, but if you're really smart, and if you just get out of this school, if you can find your way out, and everything will be fine. And it was amazing because it was de rigueur to be smart, I think, or I didn't have enough confidence anyway. I lacked confidence, but she, I never forget that message. And she passed away, and her son is on Facebook, and I was able to tell her son and her granddaughter, how in her words were good. They inspired me. And, I went to a PhD at University of Michigan, and I got into Harvard. So how bad can things be? So it was good. So we're going to go to the MIT person next. So Larry, was there a teacher or a memory of Wantagh?
There were two that I still remember. I remember their classes, and it's, in a way, it's strange since I'm an engineer, but it was Jeff Bennett and John Chisholm. Those were the teachers that impressed me the most. I can't even remember the names of a math teacher or a science teacher or anything else.
Yeah, Mr. Bennett, I had, and John Chisholm, he's on Facebook. I don't know how old he is. He must be in his late 80s, but maybe not. You can correct me. It's funny when you're 15 or 14, everybody seems like they're old, and they weren't. So, but
given that I know how old just about everyone is on this thing. Yeah.
So, what impressed you about Chisholm or Bennett?
I don't know. So I can remember they did, and I can remember some of their classes, which is probably even more amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So, yeah. Well, that's good.
I remember some English classes. I remember some art classes, and actually what they were trying to teach.
Yeah. Have you ever written to Chisholm online?
Yeah, I've emailed both of them on Facebook.
Good. Yeah. So, Megan, your turn.
My turn. I'm sitting here and I think I need to find my yearbook so I can remember more of the teachers, because I don't think any of them really had that much. I mean, I remember funny stories. Remember Mr. Parvin? He was the French teacher. I mean, I remember like silly experiences with the teachers. I remember Jeff Bennett, he did speech and I was terrified of that. I really hated that. But I did, I swam a lot and I was also in the orchestra. So I think the those experiences, because they continued throughout high school, probably were more memorable for me. But also just kind of socially, I remember, everyone and so many things that we did, good and bad. Sometimes more than I can remember college experiences. I mean, there were a lot of fun, interesting, exciting things that we did.
Yeah. Why is it that you think that we remember high school more than college? Because I swear to God, I don't remember, I did
Drank less.
4 years at San Jose State.
What did you say?
I said we drank less.
Oh, well, I
don't know about that.
I've never had a drink in my life. But,
Really?
yeah.
It may be just the way our brains were forming at the time. I don't know. And it was a small, continuous group, I think, that you saw every day for years and years. So that could be it.
That's true.
Yeah.
Continuous. Yeah.
And the thing that I love about reunions is I remember, and I don't remember the last one, whether it was the 25th or so, but I talked with people who reminded me of things that we did, and experiences that I'd completely forgotten about. So maybe I don't remember everything, but it was great because talking to those people, kind of brought them right back. So I liked Wantagh. I decided I wasn't going to live there, but I enjoyed my experiences there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's good. And I didn't point out that I've been to AU. So, living in Washington for a long time, I always thought American University was cool. My daughter looked at it as a possibility, but she went to GW instead.
Yeah.
No sailing possibilities at American University. So it was a club team.
What year was your daughter in GW?
Oh God. Well, let me see. Born in 96.
Okay.
So
after my daughter, then. My daughter's there in 2000.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, before my daughter and two other girls that were recruited for sailing, women's sailing, the team had never been ranked. And by their second year, the three women that they recruited, the school was number one in the U.S. And my daughter went on to be the Stanford sailing coach. All except for the fact that she was hired by the Stanford sailing coach who took $660,000 in scholarship blues or whatever the guy. Helping people get into school. So he came up to her and said, I'm leaving for Boston tomorrow. I'm resigning and you're the coach.
Wow.
And at 21 years old, she was Stanford University sailing coach. And she wasn't a happy kid. So,
it's a lot of responsibility.
I think she cried every other day. So, but anyway, so we'll go to Mark. So there you were. You had 2 years with the Grateful Dead. I'm sure that's your memory.
A lot more than that, actually. But yeah, you guys are just making me think about all the teachers we had, and two of my favorites were the science teachers, actually. Bob Castellani, who had the ski tour I worked for and took me skiing every weekend for free, which was such a great gig. And the other was Eugene Cutie, our physics professor. I'd hang out with Eugene every once in a while, and I was mentioning to him that, hey, I'm going to go skiing up at Hunter Mountain. He says, well, I live in Hillsboro. You should come visit. I go, well, I'm going Christmas morning, and you don't want me showing up Christmas morning. He says, no, come on up. And so 17-year-old me goes over to Eugene's house in Hillsboro. We find our way, Hillsdale, whatever, right outside Hunter Mountain. And his wife, is he around? And his wife says, well, he's out in the barn mucking out the stalls on Christmas morning. And so I went out and visited him, and he decided we should do a shot. And I don't know, if he didn't know I was 17 or he didn't care, but, it was a very different time. And that kind of drove me to be a teacher. It's like, these guys are cool. So, when pressed to make a decision of what I'm going to do for a living, it's like, oh, well, I could work ski tours and have a barn and do shots with my students. So, well, that sounds good. It never worked out that way, but there were so many. And the guy I remember the most, though, is Melvin T. Kessler. Mel Kessler taught us to look at everything in a political, social, and economic lens, that whenever you're evaluating anything in life, you look at it three ways. And I still do that today. And I think of Mel. He was a fascinating, he's a basketball coach, I guess. I didn't play basketball. He still sticks with me, and I remember him as a great teacher for what he taught me.
Wow.
And Roland Mazzarelli, the band teacher. Mazzarelli was fabulous to hang out with. And we would just play music, and he was a fabulous trumpet player. So all the teachers there were so affable. I mean, they were just so accessible. And growing up in elementary school, we always kind of respected the teachers. We got to high school, not so much anymore. It was Jeff Bennett, Bob Castellani, Gary Soka, and they didn't care if you called them by their first names. It was a very, very great time, I think. So I don't know, but still, singing with the Grateful Dead for 2 years was one of the highlights. But I actually went on tour with them for 5 years, but I only sang for 2, and I lost my voice.
Yeah. So did you ever hear of the band Cheap Trick?
Yeah.
I was a roadie for Cheap Trick when I was in graduate school.
Live in Budokan?
Yeah, well, no, I didn't get to go to Budokan, but I got to see their lead singer get his booty. That was, he was always picking the women out after the concerts. But that's the reason I have tinnitus, horrible tinnitus, because I kept my back to the stage after we set up the stage. And,
that was pre-earphones.
Oh my God, it's horrible. So anyway, thank you very much, Jan. I wanted to say, I'll make a comment about yearbooks. I have all the yearbooks. I have 40 yearbooks. And I have to say there's one year where it's not in alphabetical order. And I'm wondering if they did that on purpose. It's so crazy. It'll start at the letter M, but they'll be all intermixed in there. And it's like they were on an acid trip.
That wasn't us. That wasn't us.
Oh, no, yours is a great yearbook. But it was around your tenure.
Huh.
If I could go over to my closet over there, I would be able to find it, because it's particularly hard finding people in that yearbook. So what's the answer for you?
For me,
yeah,
without a doubt, it's John Chisholm, and because of the art influence. And I was so pleased when he came to our reunion 10 years ago, so that would have been the 40th. And I don't know if you all remember, any of you, I know Linda was there. I think you were there. And I got to thank him, in person again and again for his influence in my life. I don't know why this is getting feedback. He taught me so many things about art. He was the greatest person to introduce us all, I guess, to just different types of things, how to see things differently. And that helped me in my career so much. And to the point of some of my art projects, I've kept a portfolio my whole life. And now I'm purging. I've been purging for years. So you go back through things, keep a few things, throw out some more, keep a few things, throw out some more. And I'm like, oh my goodness, only now do I see that was really, really good. What I did in high school. I have even framed some things that I know were assignments or projects from high school, and you just don't know when you're a kid, if it was good or not. And So I really thank him for that. There's so many things about perspective and color, and I can't even go on texture, and just trying every kind of medium. I don't know if you guys remember that at all. I just am so grateful. He was the biggest influence on my life. And he's probably the only person I remember. I don't remember names that much.
So how old is he?
Well, I do remember, again, what you were saying, not being that old, not much older than us. So if we're like 67, 68, he can't be more than 5 years older than us, really. Mid-70s, the most.
I remember in 7th grade, I thought my English teacher, Mrs. Barton, was old, but it turned out she was 21 years old. And, just imagine that. And, it's said this, being able to call your teachers by their first name. My son went to a Quaker boarding school in Pennsylvania, and he would call his teacher, the first year he called everybody by their first name, and I go, that's not respectful. He goes, Dad, the Quakers don't call people Mr. or Mrs. We're supposed to call them by their first name. So I thought that was amazing. But
I was just speaking to, I was watching the movie Midway today. Can you believe it? I don't know if you're history buffs, but I was talking to the gentleman I'm dating, and he said, well, don't you know all the blah, blah, blah about World War II? And I say to him, I say this to everybody, they ran out of time in high school. We never got to World War II that I can remember.
Yeah.
I don't know if you all have a sense of those things, but that's how I remember not getting enough history. What do you guys think?
I got a 780 out of 800 on the history AP class. I mean, the test. Well,
that's pretty good.
Yeah, history was my forte.
Well, that's good.
Who were the teachers of history? Name one.
Mrs. Heisler.
Babiak.
Okay. I don't remember any.
Babiak. Mr. Glover.
Oh, wow.
Mr. Glover.
Do you remember him?
Yeah, I do.
He was gross.
I know. I had this image. It's like, yeah.
Was it Aquavelva and Sweat? Was he the one? It was some horrible cologne that I've never wanted to be around since. And Sweat.
Probably.
Yeah.
You don't
There's
want
a reason we don't remember.
I have to tell you, things are the go-go 70s were strange because there were teachers who dated students. And
in our class.
Yes.
I think there was a PE teacher. It's usually the PE teacher.
And driver's ed.
I forgot about all those scandals.
Yes, I know about the PE teacher.
And there was an English teacher.
Yes, an English teacher.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. So, in fact, an English teacher married a student.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Did he finally? Oh, yeah, I remember that, Linda. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right.
oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And so, anyway, strange times that we lived in. So, anyway, so it's 8:45. Well, it's 8:44. I do appreciate you taking time out to do this. I really appreciate it. I know we've all got better things to do on Monday evenings.
Oh, no.
Not really.
68, Glenn.
Yeah, it's. I should explain. Jean works in New York Monday and Tuesdays. She drives from here to New York at 5 in the morning, Monday morning. She works for a violinist in New York. And she is his brain and has been for 25 years. And she'll retire when I retire, which is a year from now. And she won't do that driving. But because she's not here on Mondays, that's why the show's on Mondays.
Gotcha.
Right.
Reason.
So,
Well, I appreciate you doing this. I think it's pretty amazing. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure what your motivation is, but
Yeah, what is your motivation? I can't figure that out.
Do we have to sign a release now?
yeah, right.
No, I do it. I don't know. It's the same motivation for doing the virtual memorial. I have no idea. I just do it because nobody else is doing it, and
So
somebody
amazing.
should be doing
That's great.
Yeah, thank you.
it.
Thank
Thank
And,
you very much.
Putting
And,
up with
Glenn, my brother loved it, believe it or not. And he had such a good time. So I appreciate you doing that.
yeah. Well, if you guys put a spin in for if you have any family members and they want to do this, it'd be great. I'm booked up 2 more classes of 71, and then I'm booked in July and into August. So it should be fun. Anyway, thank you very much for appearing. I'm going to hit the end broadcast button, and I appreciate your time. All right.
Thank
See you all in
you.
September.
All right.
you all
Bye,
in
everybody.
September.
Nice to see you all.
You
All right.
too.